Another bumper weekend of Premier League action, a great Saturday in particular, the first time in nearly a year that last season's top 7 have all played on the same day. It starts with Manchester City against Liverpool, Arsenal are at home to Bournemouth, Everton take on Tottenham, Chelsea travel to Leicester and Manchester United are at Stoke. Then on Sunday it's Burnley Palace, followed by Swansea against Newcastle, and the Monday night game, West Ham United against Huddersfield. 3 teams yet to pick up any points from their opening 3 games in the Premier League: Bournemouth, Crystal Palace and rock-bottom West Ham United. Manchester United, by contrast, have a 100% record. Liverpool in second place on 7 points, along with Manchester City, their opponents this weekend, Huddersfield Town and West Brom. To talk us through this weekend's fixtures, Ian Wright is here as always on a Friday, and we're joined today by Danny Murphy. And it is interesting now, I mean, I know the window, it's been a while since it closed, but suddenly those players who maybe thought they were going to get a move away are returning to the dressing room and maybe even returning to their squads. Is it dependent on the circumstances, what the reaction's going to be to them from the dressing room and from the fans?
I weren't bothered about players who wanted to leave and didn't leave. I know it's different to how it is now, but it didn't bother me. You just tried to get on with it. It must be quite weird and awkward for them because they were desperate to leave, and the players know that they were desperate to leave. But I found it, Dan, I wasn't really bothered. You just kind of just get on with what you're doing. Just to be honest, if it was me, if I was in any of those dressing rooms, I would have rather them to have been gone, so we can just get on with it. Yeah,
so is it more about the player themselves rather than about the reaction to them? And are they in, if you look at Coutinho, Van Dijk, Sanchez, they're all in very different situations, aren't they?
Yeah, they are, and I think Sanchez, for example, who's got a year left, he's kind of got light at the end of the tunnel if he wants to leave. So he's probably got, and in his mind, it wouldn't be as bad. I mean, Coutinho's the one where you think maybe he could be affected the most because you're talking about a huge move to Barcelona. Will they come back for him? We'll have to wait and see. But I think generally we're selfish as footballers. Yeah. And as long as you're OK in terms of in the team, get on with the manager, your contract's all right. Yeah. If someone else is having a few problems, you know, you'll do the, you're all right, mate, you're all right. Yeah. Keep your chin up. But as long as you're doing OK, that's really what... The only time it becomes a negative if the player makes the training...
Yeah. Starts affecting
a platform for him to show his grievances, and that becomes a problem. But usually the coach will get that quickly, and
that's why you hear some of them training with the kids and stuff. They don't want them around.
And also, you've got these new players coming in, so the dynamic in a lot of the dressing rooms will change anyway, whether it's for the better or, you know, if there is a slight negative point to having a player coming back who might be causing trouble, you've also got the kind of the upshot of the new players coming in.
Well, what's good about when the new players are coming in is especially if he's in and around your position, you just want to try and show him that, you know what I mean, he's not getting your position. You just want to, it almost gets you to kick on a little bit because you have to fighting for your position, really, and you want to impress them. You want them to see that you're a good player. You know, I wouldn't say I was always all right, but it never bothered me. It never bothered me.
Oh, it bothered me.
Did it?
When I was at Liverpool and they used to make 6 signings in the summer, I was like, oh, not another one. How many players do we need?
Who was the one that worried you most?
Strangely, when Schmeichel came in, because I was playing right midfield at the time, and that was kind of his position, although he could play as a 10.
Yeah, he's a good player.
His first few days in training, we thought we'd signed the best player in the world. I'm not kidding, he was unbelievable.
Awesome. Because
he's got such good balance and grace and 2 feet. It took him a while to get going, but on that week, I was thinking, I'm done.
Really?
So where am I going to go?
Managing the decline.
But we ended up both playing, actually. And, you know, sometimes you're spot on what you said. It pushes you on. You've got to have it.
Well, one of the players who didn't get the move that he wanted was Philippe Coutinho. And Jurgen Klopp's been talking to the media and joking about his Brazilian player.
Maybe before we start, we don't talk about transfers, not about Phil Coutinho. No, only the game. No chance. Who wants to talk about the game can stay, the rest can leave. Phil came back day before yesterday already, and but like Roberto, we sent them immediately home to get a few hours of sleep. Even when we tried everything to organize it as good as possible, but as comfortable as possible, which is quite difficult in a week like this. But yesterday, of course, he was in, yes, and we had a very good talk. It was in a very good mood, and training was even better. Before he went to Brazil, he couldn't train for around about 3 weeks, And so that means we have to prepare him now, try to prepare him for the rest of the season. And so that's quite difficult with our fixtures and our schedule. And so I decided to leave him out of the squad for City, that we can use this 4 or 5 days, for real and proper training.
So Jurgen Klopp saying he wasn't going to talk about Philippe Coutinho, but only about the game. But the first question to him was, talking of the game, will Philippe Coutinho play? which worked quite nicely. And he's saying, Danny, that he can only play 50 minutes. He did play for Brazil when his back injury and his illness seemed to have cleared up, but he did only play 45 minutes. Is this a sensible decision, do you think, giving him, the opportunity to play a full game when he does come back?
I think so. I mean, if we're hypothesising about whether the injuries were genuine, I think is the point. And if he was actually not training, to then go into a big high-profile game after travelling that far, playing half a game, it seems sensible what Jurgen Klopp's doing. Because what you don't want to do is put him out further and prolong. Might as well, if you're going to have him out injured, you might as well have sold him.
We're free in, it's free. We're 3 games in, and
they're playing well, mate.
And they are playing well. And there's a lot going on. I think he's managing it really well, Jurgen Klopp. And plus, just give him that little bit extra time. Get him, I think it's a good decision. And because of everything what's happened in this Barcelona, people are going to look at the fact that, he's left him out. But I don't think that's a bad thing at this stage of the season.
I mean, you've both mentioned the fact that Liverpool are doing well without him. Nobody's going to turn down the chance to have a player that's attracted the interest of Barcelona. Someone like that is always going to add to a team. But how well are they doing? How equipped are they to cope without Philippe Coutinho against City in a big game?
Well, I think when you look at the front four and how capable they are of attacking a team and going at a team, City's back four, even with a Vincent Kompany, with this kind of pace, they're going to cause them problems, these guys. And this is even without someone like Adam Lallana, who does trigger them in respect of trying to win the ball back in the last third. But other than that, I think that he would be a massive bonus if he was there. But I think Liverpool have got enough to cause City untold problems with what's going forward.
Where do you stand on these comments that have been made throughout the transfer window, that with Sadio Mane playing as well as he is, Liverpool don't need Philippe Coutinho?
I was 50-50 in some respects, because I think Salah's a terrific player. I think Lallana as well has progressed and his end product's getting better. And if they'd have got the money, they probably could have got another one in as well. But, I mean, Coutinho's a super player, there's no doubt about that. And he will add quality with the amount of fixtures they're going to have, Champions League, etc. But right now, the balance is really nice. He's got the 3 in midfield, all working tremendously hard. Chan's really the one who bombs, and Wijnaldum and Henderson stay a bit more. But the balance, the width and the pace looks really good. And actually, Jurgen Klopp's probably sitting there going, just want to leave it be.
It's even better for him, because he can actually use it as an excuse to leave him out, rather than him coming. Can you imagine if he come back, Dan, and he's coming, he's fit and ready to go, and Jurgen Klopp's thinking, how do I upset this balance? Where would you put him now? Where would you play Philippe?
I'd play him. I'd play him.
Who would you leave out? What?
Who
would you leave out?
Probably Chan.
He's started really well.
He started well. He's a different type of player, but in terms of opening up teams, if you've got Coutinho just dropping in, he did it 2 or 3 times last season. He was brilliant. Now he needs legs around him because he's not a tenacious player. But if he gets on the ball in those areas with those 2 runners,
he's going to cause people problems.
But if the balance is right as it is, how does Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain fit into Jurgen Klopp's plans?
Well, it's a bit like saying one week when City play really well and the balance is nice, and where would Sane fit into that? And then 2 weeks later, someone...
Bernardo Silva.
There's that many games and there's that many competitions that it won't stay balanced and perfect. There'll be different games where you need to mix it up. The great thing about the Ox is versatility.
Yeah, he could probably come in and do what Shan's doing.
He could play as a 3 comfortably. He could cover the young lad at right back now, because Klein's out for a while. He can even, we've seen him play right wing many times if Salah got injured, because what Ox gives you is what Klopp loves, which is tenacity, endeavour, powerful, pace, kind of, and that ability, his crossing's got better, I think. He's picking people out more, and he'll improve because he'll play more.
And, well, that's what Klopp's been saying about him, is that he is versatile and he really likes it, all those qualities that he has as a player. But that isn't quite what we heard that Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain wanted when he got the move from Arsenal, that he wanted to have a settled position.
he does want to have a settled position. I think he's left to go to Liverpool to try
You
and
assume they've had that conversation.
They would have had the conversation, but just like he can't expect to have a settle. He wants to play there. You can't expect to go somewhere and say, well, I want to play there or else I'm not going nowhere. You know,
would have.
Yeah, but Dad, as a striker, that was me.
Joking,
I can't do that left side coming off the left, doing all that Thierry stuff. I have to play down the middle. But he's saying, I want to. That's where I want to. That's where ideally I'd want to play. It wasn't going to happen for him at Chelsea. I think he realises at Liverpool, he's got a better chance of being able to get into a team and maybe kick on. And even more to sadness, a sad indictment to Arsenal is that he believes that Liverpool is going to take him to the next level, which he's quoted.
But in terms of where he plays, Danny, I mean, I know you were saying you had one position and that's where you like to play. But you were a more versatile player. How much does it help you develop as a player to have a settled position?
I mean, I personally think generally it's better for a player if he has the ability to play more roles, because it means his knowledge, his understanding of the game is better. I think if you play a position for quite a long time, it does get easier and you start understanding it more. I mean, I ended up playing further back in central midfield that I'd never played really, and you learn quickly. But I think what he's saying, and I might be wrong, is that he wants to be more centre in the pitch, not necessarily centre in a three or right of a three. I think he just wants to be more involved in the game rather than stuck out wide, because he's so strong, he's so good with the ball at getting you up the pitch, you know, his running ability with the ball that not many players have anymore. That I think he probably feels a bit, not that he got enough minutes at Arsenal, but when he did play, he stuck out there, he's thinking,
I'm not involved
and I'm good.
Yeah.
So is
we'll
it
see.
oversimplifying the way that Klopp wants his team to play to say that Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain will have a fixed position? Because even if he does have, you know, a name that you can put in the right place on a tactics board, he's going to move around within that anyway.
Yeah,
correct.
Yeah, I think so. Firstly, what he needs to do is whatever position he plays in, going to a new club, is to just hit the ground running, start playing well, and then afterwards, as it goes, then hopefully you play well enough down in a position where they're starting to say, well, this is where he's doing his most work. This is it. That's what he should be doing, because I think what he's done at the moment, talking about wanting to be in the centre, everybody's saying, oh, if you're not playing in the centre, where are you going to play? You might as well stay at Arsenal. You're not playing in the centre at Arsenal. And so what he should have just said is, I'm just going there for a better opportunity to play more games. Hopefully that'll happen for him.
But there's another thing in terms of, it's all right playing right of a three and being stuck on the wing, say at Arsenal if they played out, when he played out there, or a wing back. When you're at Liverpool playing right of a three and you've got flexibility sometimes, they're all over the place. Yeah. So Liverpool's front three, front four last season, they were all over the place. Lallana left wing, then he's on the right wing, then he's playing as a 10, Coutinho's on it. So it's, if you're playing for a manager, he might say, listen, start on the right. And he's like, but...
If he moves there, you get in there.
He's not going to mind that.
It's going to be brilliant.
I mean, that's slightly different if he comes in for the injured Nathaniel Clyne, in which case it is a much more set position. I mean, is that something you could see him doing?
He could do it
as a stopgap, or is he going to be like a James Milner type stopgap, in which case it ends up as...
No, I think he's got so many years ahead of him and so much potential. I remember speaking to Roy Hodgson about him, and he was the biggest disappointment. He thinks so highly of him that when he got injured just before the World Cup
in Miami, I remember it.
That was his biggest disappointment, because he was going to start.
Yeah, he was brilliant.
He was playing great at that time.
Oh, he was brilliant.
So he's had a bit of bad luck with injuries, but you kind of feel it's the right fit, don't you?
I think he's made the move for the right reason. He's made it under you see, Liverpool are progressing. They're getting better. Something's happening, and you know that's why he went there. And you know you have to. I'm absolutely delighted for him. He's made the move for all the right reasons.
There's an interesting set of fixtures coming up for Liverpool, because after the City game, they've got Burnley, Leicester and Newcastle before they play Manchester United and Tottenham. How will that work for them, do you think?
Well, strangely, last season, they were the type of games that they struggled with. The City and United games, they were fantastic. Yep. So it'll be fascinating to see if that's the same again. I watch Liverpool now, and there's something a little bit different now, because you've got a bit more pace. I know Marnie was there last year, but he was away for African nations when they had that bad run. You've got Salah now, who can go past people. I know you were impressed with him a couple of weeks ago. They've got more options now, and I don't think that they'll have the same... Well, I hope they don't have the same problems. But if they can repeat the form against the other big teams, they could give themselves a hell of a good chance.
Unbelievable.
Hell of a good... But they're missing out on Van Dijk is a big thing for me. I think they needed him.
Yeah,
I really think he's better than what
that
you've
would,
got.
you know what? That could have been the push them to really. Yeah, I'm going to put my marker on Liverpool. If they got him, even with the goalkeeper situation, he would have been unbelievable.
But what would he have done differently? Is Liverpool and the defensive problems aren't as
The marshalling,
bad as,
Kells.
statistically they're not
I know
as
they've
bad
got a lot
as
of clean
people
sheets
say.
in that,
And,
Kells. They have
yeah,
got, what, 6 or 7 or something, whatever.
yeah,
But
7 of 8.
Set plays were poor.
Exactly. He's a big, commanding centre half that organises, and that for me would have been. It's a perfect fit.
And the other thing as well, he is all of those things. He's very commanding, aerially very, very good, which Liverpool don't really have. But he's a better footballer than the others.
Yeah.
He's a good passer of the ball. He's got that capability of looking there and then finding the Lana in the space, wherever it may be, and that gives you another dimension. Because if you've got centre half so you can play out,
You're starting attacks from further.
So
back.
it's a blow. It's a blow.
Well, we're only 3 games into the season, but Liverpool in second place. They take on Manchester City, who also have 7 points from their opening 3 games. And Pep Guardiola was asked if this weekend's opposition were genuine title contenders.
Liverpool always have been, always was, and always will be. Liverpool is with United is the most, in the past, teams in England, in Europe, and even they didn't win the Premier League since long time ago. Every season is one of the outsiders, no doubts about that.
Well, no doubt about that, says Pep Guardiola. I mean, he's talking about their aims for the rest of the season. For Manchester City, if the overall assessment of them last season was that they played well in parts, but didn't quite do enough to maybe fulfil the expectations of Pep Guardiola coming in, are we closer to seeing him and his team perform at the levels we expected?
I think he hopes so. I hope so as well. I expect Manchester City to be playing to a certain level, of course, because for me, I think they've got the deepest squad and the best squad. I think, as you know, they've got kind of cover everywhere. I think they strengthened with Kyle Walker and Mendy in positions that they needed to, and Jesus has started pretty well. But I look at Manchester City and I see a team that should be doing. They should be doing what they're doing. They should be challenging. I think that he's closer to what he wants in respect of a team, Dan. And so, for me, Manchester City, I still, as much as I'm really impressed with Man United, are still the favourites for me to go on and do it. And it's only going to come down to them and their attitude towards it and how they approach it. But these games, you have to fancy Man City in this game because I think they've got a better squad.
Danny, do you think Pep Guardiola is trying to find his preferred formation, or do you think that it's not important to him, that he wants to be able to keep changing?
I think he'd like to be a bit more settled than last season because that was over the top.
Yeah, how many players?
I mean, you can't get rhythm playing like that as a team and as an individual. I think it's all well and good having plan A and plan B. You might play 4 one week and then 3 the next. That's fine, as long as you work on it. What I would say is the full-back areas were a big problem and they've been hopefully covered. The pace now. They can both defend one-on-one, which is crucial. They can both recover, which is crucial. And I think Jesus he's going to be a superstar. The only thing I would say is the dynamic of him and Aguero, because Aguero's been the man for a long time.
You think he's crowbarring him in?
I don't know. Yeah, it doesn't feel.
It feels like it.
Crowbarring Aguero in?
Yeah, because I remember when it was him, it was Jesus, Sane, and Sterling. And I watched them, I think it was at West Ham. They were electrifying. And you think to yourself, why isn't he doing that? I think he's crowbarring him in.
Yeah, I think the only thing for City with me where I wouldn't make them favourites is games like this where he's going to have probably Silva and De Bruyne playing ahead of a holder, Fernandinho probably, and then you're going to probably have the 2 strikers fitting in rather than... And it doesn't give them the best balance for me. And I think it's too attacking. Whereas you've got Conte and Mourinho, who are pragmatists. And they don't mind looking bad to win a game 1-0. They don't mind playing a certain way.
He takes it personally.
Well, I think, will he have learned from last season? You hope so as a City fan. But I think if you turn up away at Chelsea or Old Trafford and you've got De Bruyne, Silva, Sane, Jesus, Aguero, all of a sudden, yes, you look $1 million, but you're going to have times where you've got to have backs to the wall.
Yeah.
And is he pragmatic enough? We'll have to wait and see.
And that comes down to the fact that they were reliant, or have been reliant. We asked the question last week, you know, are they just one injury to Vincent Kompany away from having a defensive crisis? And he's a doubt with a calf injury, a serious doubt for this game against Liverpool. So where does it leave them?
Well, for me, without Vincent Kompany, then you're just back to the fragile Manchester City at the back, because he is kind of that dominant figure that keeps them together. And it's not just what he does in clearing things up and leading. It's just he's talking and he's communicating. And I think that they need that, Manchester.
And he's struggling a bit in terms of running backwards. And I don't think it's as big a deal now. I mean, yes, they could have brought someone in, but Otamendi gets a bit of unfair stick for silly diving in now and again, but he's a good player. He can play, and he's not a bad defender. And Stones has got to come to the fore. He's got to get better, he's got to improve, he's got to learn from his mistakes of the last 12 months. But he's got the capability, for sure, Stones, because he's quick, he can leap. I think it is a question mark when Kompany's not there. Are they organised enough? But they're going to have to cope with that.
Stones worries me, as good as he is, with everything what he's doing in a pep team and how they want to play. Because I would always, if I was playing against him, I'd always try and funnel it down towards him. Let him get the ball, because at some stage he'll do something.
What would you do if he starts Cruyffing you, though, and not making?
If he starts Cruyffing me, I would just continue to go, Dan, because you know, if he Cruyffs you, want the crowd do their at some stage, I'll just get more and more angry, and I'll close him down more and more, and you feel like you can get something off him. But he has got that capability of Cruyffing you. But
I think what will help him is having Walker to the side of him.
That's what he needs. That's what he needs.
And in what way?
In the fact that if he... A lot of times, I remember seeing him getting isolated at Leicester with Vardy and stuff. It wasn't just him, it was Kolarov as well. But, you know, if you've got Walker to the right side of you and he goes a little bit, you know he can get back.
Yeah.
So you know that when you're defending, he's nearly getting to you. Whereas other times he was so, you know, he doesn't know which way to show because he's so on his own. With the pace of Mendy and Walker, it means a centre-half, you feel a bit more comfortable.
But what worries me with Walker is that he's so desperate to get forward, Kells, that some of the times, even with the England goal the other day, we saw it with Rashford losing, he was so ready to bomb on. I worry for John Stones in that respect.
But that's the manager, because he didn't, at Tottenham, he became a really good... I did a little piece on Tottenham's back four and watching them when they were attacking and set plays and stuff. Every time one of them went, a different wing-back, when they played Rose and Walker, but as a back four, Walker, when the left, he stayed.
Yeah.
And if he only went if Dyer dropped and told him to go.
Right.
And it was brilliant, but that's from the manager. They didn't do that. It doesn't just happen, that. You know, it's like, if you're going to go as well, make sure he's back. They've always had three. Always.
Yeah.
And he learned to play as a right-back instead of just playing where he wanted. So it's up to Pep to actually give him some guidelines, you know. You can't just play where you want.
Just a quick word. Again, I mean, you talked about Aguero earlier on, about, you know, the fact that maybe he's trying to crowbar him, Guardiola's trying to crowbar him into the side. If he is unsettled at Manchester City, well, the fact that City went so strongly for Alexis Sanchez, that it went right down for the wire, annoy him a little bit more?
Whether it annoys him or not, he would have had to be thinking to himself, well, I know he loves Jesus, you know what I mean? And so he's not going to really dislodge him because he's the future. If you're looking at it and you're being sensible and honest to yourself, you're the one that you'd have to think is probably somebody that they could probably still get a lot of money for, and he's the one that Sanchez will probably be able to come in and dislodge. You know, if I was him as a forward, I'd probably be wary about that situation and the fact that they chased him so hard.
Although there was talk that they wanted Sterling to go the other way and play Sanchez more wide and get goals from there as well. Because you know with Sanchez, you can play him wide and get goals. So if you're playing him wide and he's getting you 20, when Aguero's getting yours, Jesus, all of a sudden... So I'm not sure he was bringing him in to take Aguero's place.
No, but still, Aguero would be worried about him coming. I would be. If I was, I would.
You said you never worried about anybody.
Do you know what?
I would be worried if someone like Sanchez was coming.
I have to say, if you think Sergio Aguero is worried about it, I don't think he is. No. I think he thinks, I'll play, bang loads of goals in, and if they want to drop me or sell me...
Even with this manager, with this manager, Pep, who we saw just out of the blue, just come in and just unsettle him. There was a time, Dan, where he was so unsettled.
If he has to leave, he's going to have a whole host of clubs want to take him.
Yep.
But let me give him some credit, because do you know last year when we were talking about Guardiola wanting to work from the front?
Yeah.
He didn't half do it, you know.
Yeah, he tried it.
He is pressing. He's running around like an headless chicken. Huddersfield at home in the FA Cup, they're 4-0 up. He ran 40 yards to close the right back down and done a slide tackle. Guardiola's beside himself. And I'm thinking, I'm not sure that's the right thing to have him doing.
Could get injured doing that.
However, look, they didn't make the signing for Alexis Sanchez work. There is still plenty of attacking talent on display in that game between City and Liverpool.